Welcome to Let the Play Develop, where now officially all of our teams have no shot at a national championship. Sadness, ACC did not do well, but that's besides the point. We have a good show ahead of us. We have news to talk about. We have March Madness bracket updates. We can tell you how wrong our brackets were, or how right. Shout out Princeton. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm just saying.
Did y'all both pick Princeton?
No, I did not, but Nate did. And way to call your shot. Princeton to the Sweet 16. I like it. I don't know if you called that, but,
I didn't, but
they
I called
made
them past
Sweet
the
16.
first round.
Hey, props to them. And we'll also be talking about a little bit of a NFL free agency. So if you don't see that in the news, that's why. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the news.
All right, so starting out with the NFL this week, we have the Cowboys officially released running back Ezekiel Elliott after 7 seasons with him on the team.
In the words of Lizzo, it's about. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. I mean,
no. Honestly, he's a good running back, but he's not shown that they should keep him.
No.
I mean, and if you know anything about the salary in which they are paying that entire Cowboys offense, it was in the stars that Tony Pollard or Zeke would have to go. Just to make things work financially, one of those had to go when the franchise – was it a new contract or a franchise tag? I can't remember.
It was a new contract.
When that came out, that was like, hey, Zeke's gone. So, I mean –
what was the cap hit?
Pollard?
Yeah, was it a franchise tag on Pollard?
I think they franchise tagged
So
him,
when
yeah.
that news came out, I was like, well, it's only a matter of time for Zeke. So
What was the cap hit for Zeke? Do you know?
not
Because it had to be something.
not
Right?
off the top of my head, but like Dak gets paid a lot, CeeDee Lamb gets paid a lot. We'll talk about it later, but Brandon Cooks, I think, has a pretty decent sized contract.
I'll have to look up how much of his money was guaranteed, but probably you don't give a running back much guaranteed money normally. So
Right. Well, I mean, but I'm pretty sure didn't he sign a bigger contract when he was, eating?
yeah, let Zeke cook.
Yeah, and now he just eats. He doesn't cook, so that's why they had to get rid of him.
The moment he decided he was a third down back, he lost his career.
Yep.
That's tough.
No, he can still resurge. It's just
No,
gonna be
I
tough.
think he'll be fine somewhere else. It was everyone kind of saw this coming. At some point, they were going to promote Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
He's too good not to have as your number one running back.
Really, when the Tony Pollard news came out, I was like, well, Zeke is going to be on a different team.
I don't know. Zeke doesn't seem to have the work ethic right now. Now I think he reestablished it some this season, but the last 3 years. Now I don't see behind the scenes. He could be the biggest workhorse there is in terms of players. But honestly, he just doesn't show much motivation on the field.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Zeke. I do apologize.
Big fan, Zeke. I'm a very big fan of you.
I mean,
even though-
I know him and Tony Pollard served completely different roles. Tony
Yeah.
Pollard is explosive and Zeke is a grinded out guy, but it kind of makes sense. He kind of had to go with one over the other.
I mean, it's kind of like that the Swift and Jamal Williams situation of last year for the Lions when they were both healthy. Swift is your big play guy. Williams is going to get your touchdowns and on the goal line type dude.
Yeah, except Swift was looking so good. He was actually getting touches at the beginning of the season, and then he got hurt, and then he came back and was like, yeah, I'm feeling good. And the staff were like, no, you're not. Here's 3 carries. And it was just like, what's happening?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big season for Tony Pollard to show, okay, you're the undisputed number one guy, and you are the guy for that team now. What are you going to do with it?
I do think it is projected that the Cowboys will be using a first or second round pick on a running back. So, I do think that is what
I
is
didn't know
slotted to go at the moment. So.
I would never use a first round pick on a running
Well, they have a
back.
late first round pick, but I'm pretty sure I know they're at least considering it hard, is what the reports are, of taking a running back in the first round.
The only
too
one I could
many.
even see possibly being late first round is that is it Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, it's him. That's the one that that's
How's
who
his
they're
name
looking to
spelled?
get.
Bijan.
So it's Bijan,
Bijan.
or is it Bijan?
I don't know.
This is not going to look good.
No, it's not. But he's from he played at Texas.
That is the name that I
last
heard
3
that they were
years.
looking at getting. So we'll see. I mean, I still think Tony Pollard will be the number one, but I'm just saying he may not be, especially towards the end of the season, it may not be as one-sided as people tend to think.
Yeah, probably not. Moving on from that, the Steelers cut linebacker Miles Jack.
That's tough.
It's tough.
He's a good player.
He's a really good player. I guess they added some guy I'd never heard of, to be honest.
Miles Jack, if you want to come to Arizona, you're welcome.
Or the Panthers.
Or if you want to come to the Panthers, that sounds great.
There's two
as
against
well.
one, so
Also,
come to
he's
the Panthers.
young. He's a pretty young player, so I was
Yeah.
like, this is...
We need a linebacker. Well, we do not need a linebacker, but they don't know how to use Isaiah Simmons, who is an absolute animal, but they just don't play him right. And Zayvon Collins is good. We need an outside linebacker, so Miles Jack, you can still come, I guess. I won't turn you away.
The Chargers safety Nasir Adderley retired after 4 seasons playing in the NFL.
Did not see that coming.
I don't have a take.
It's tough because he
That's
was such
tough.
a good young piece for them, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's just hey, I don't blame you. You did your part. You can get out without having hopefully, without having lifelong scars of your time playing in the NFL. I mean, I can't say I blame the player at all.
Honestly,
Yeah.
playing 2 to 4 years, getting your bag and dipping is such a high key strat. Like maybe I should do it. What do y'all think?
I mean, if you can do it, I'm all for it.
yeah, he said that after like self-reflecting, he said he wanted to step away from the game of football.
Cannot say I blame him.
We're praying for you, Adderley.
We love you, Adderley.
I do like Nasir
I
Adams.
actually really do too. And then the Cowboys were awfully active. On top of that, Ezekiel Elliott dismissal from the team. The Colts traded cornerback Stephon Gilmore to the Cowboys for a 5th-round pick. I think it's in this year's draft. I didn't see it in the article.
That is a great trade. I know Gilmore's older, but like their cornerback is one of their weakest position.
They have
'Cause all you
Trayvon
have-
Diggs and no one.
Trayvon Diggs, and he's not a good coverage guy.
No.
He is a playmaker.
Yeah.
He is excellent to get you a pick, but otherwise he's getting torched. It's one or the other.
I was going to say, if Stephon Gilmore can hold on to the form he's had, I honestly think putting him and Trayvon is like the perfect mix, but like, we'll see how it goes. I mean, he was good for the Colts, but, just
they were the
adding.
Colts. They just weren't notable. so
Right,
no
but
one was watching Stephon
I was going to say
Gilmore.
his highlight of the entire season was getting absolutely mossed by Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Now he
lie.
has to run against Terry McLaurin twice in a year, being in the same division. So we'll see. I don't think it's bad for the team. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, for their sake, it helps for this season. We'll just have to wait and see.
You
Yeah,
know,
honestly, I didn't even know he was on the Colts until this trade.
I love how we're
Not
giving
gonna lie.
we're giving all these takes, but like let one of us go out and play cornerback for about like 2
Cornerback's
plays.
tough,
That's
bro.
I think that's the hardest position.
it's
I'm
all
gonna be
about
honest.
technique.
I was gonna say, yeah, I would not be caught getting mossed by Terry McLaurin because I would not be able to keep up. So
But I think it's
wouldn't
like
get mossed.
yes, the other positions maybe require more like skill in a certain aspect, but like the amount of knowledge base you have to have as a cornerback in terms of reaction time.
Yeah.
Because you're the one player on the field that has to react one-on-one to somebody.
Especially man, yeah.
Yeah, like if you're running man zone, it's
A little bit still because you don't want to give any space in your zone. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're guarding 1-on-1, you gotta have
Like-
some level of talent.
In my opinion, learning cornerback technique is way harder than learning wide receiver technique.
Yeah, you just have to have better hands to be a wide receiver. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
just swat it when you're a cornerback. No interception.
And honestly, like corner, you have to have a certain build because, like, if you're a fast, short wide receiver, you can make it as a receiver. But being a fast, short corner does not work the same.
No,
So,
unless you got mad bounce.
yeah,
Meanwhile, Brandon Browner was like 6'1". Was this the name? He used to play for the Saints. Okay, never mind.
I don't pay
he
attention
was
to
like
the Saints. I'm
he
not
used to
gonna
be
lie.
a 6'1", 6'2" cornerback. That man was massive for a CB.
there's bigger cornerbacks than that, ain't there?
Most of them are like 5'10", 5'11".
What? I thought they were
They're
much
like
taller.
6 foot or so.
I thought they were. I like,
Receivers are more likely to be taller than cornerbacks.
yeah, like
Yeah,
there's some
sure.
really tall ones, but I thought there were some real tall corners.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I could be wrong, but I know I think his name was Brandon Browner. He used to be a solid tall cornerback. Like he was for a corner, he was huge. Yeah.
Anyways, after that trade, Jerry Jones was like, I'm not done. I have another trick up my sleeve. Today, we're shooting this on Sunday, March 19th. It came out this morning that the Texans have traded wide receiver Brandon Cooks to the Cowboys for a 2023 fifth-round pick and a 2024 sixth-round pick.
He's finessing.
Like, I don't
Jerry, where was this all these years? Well, they're not going to win anything. It's the Cowboys.
It is the Cowboys.
My only question
Sorry,
is,
Cowboys fans.
if they can,
My
I
dad's
guess,
a Cowboys fan.
I guess it just shows you the value that's put on these picks because, like, they got a 5th-round pick for Amari Cooper. Like, I don't know. I guess these picks are just not, or these players are just not seen, or maybe the picks are just really overvalued. But a 5th-round pick for Brandon and a 6th for Brandon Cooks seems like a great trade.
Who are you going to draft in the 5th round that's better than Gilmore or Cooks?
Nothing guaranteed. Now,
Brady.
I was going to say they hit stuff all of the time.
Yeah.
But, I like the guaranteed route.
Yeah, that's true. It's just less time.
Right, yeah, you have less time with the player.
The Cowboys
as well.
are really saying we are in a win-now window by making these moves.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the NFL this week. We're definitely not leaving anything out intentionally that we can talk about later in the episode.
Also, I do think we owe an apology to Nate. The average size of a corner in the NFL is pretty much 6 foot tall. So, I mean, I get what you're
I
saying.
was right. Let's go.
Or, like, it said slightly under. And then there are some there's, like, a 6'5" corner in the NFL right now, 6'4". So they're getting taller,
massive.
but
If he's fast, that's insane.
I thought, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the difference between 6 foot and 6'2" is not that bad. I thought, like, well, yeah, that makes sense. 6 foot.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, I had to search it up because I didn't want to seem like we were completely idiotic.
Moving on to the NBA, the Hawks this week signed guard forward Bogdan Bogdanovic to a 4-year, $68 million deal.
Yeah, someone on that team's not going to last on that team. I don't know who it's going to be, but, someone on that team is not going to. I don't know if it's going to be Trey, DeJounte Murray, Bogdanovic, maybe even Clint Capella, but someone's not staying on that team for the next couple of seasons.
I think it's DeJounte Murray. I think he gets out there as fast as he can.
Really?
Yeah.
He just got there.
I know, but I think Trey would stay longer than DeJounte would.
They better hope that he stays because I'm pretty sure they give up 4 first-round picks and a pick swap, so that's
me
the
out.
equivalent of 5 first-round picks.
They traded
Big storyline.
Trey for Luka Doncic. I mean, they traded Luka Doncic for Trey.
That's insane.
Well, until this year, I mean, sure, even last year, you'd rather have Luka than Trey, but at least it didn't seem that bad. But it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Trey is still good. Okay, storyline time. Trey Young goes to New York. Can you imagine?
Oh,
I don't think that's
God.
possible.
Can you imagine the villain of New York?
Maybe Brooklyn, but no, he could not. I don't think he can go to New
He's
York.
banned from the
He
stadium.
would be.
Dear God. Wait, he's banned from what?
No, he's not.
He's
It
not
was a
banned from
joke.
the stadium, but like
They
they had all that
the Knicks
rivalry and
hate
stuff.
Trae
Yeah,
Young.
they
Oh.
hate him with a
He had
passion.
the whole shushing the crowd.
Yeah,
thing.
and he hit that shot
That was
in
funny.
Oh,
the playoffs
you're
2 years
right.
ago, and he was like, "Bye bye."
Trey Young.
Yeah, all downhill from there.
That's sad.
And lastly, for the NBA this week, Lonzo Ball will likely miss most, if not all, of the 2023-2024 season. So next season, after he just had his 3rd knee surgery, which was a cartilage transplant.
That is the saddest news I have seen because, I don't know. I mean, I've not always been the biggest fan of the Ball family. Now, once we got LaMelo, I was rooting for all of them, of course. But I've never been the biggest fan of the Ball family. But I don't know. Lonzo, even what I have to give Lonzo credit over LaMelo is Lonzo seems a little bit more of the put in the work, not all about the flash type of person versus LaMelo's a lot more flash. And so it's just, I don't know, it's sad as Lonzo was kind of finding his place in the NBA. He was, yes, he's worthy of being a starting point guard. He's a great defender, great playmaker, a competent shooter, and then his career is just getting derailed.
Well, my thing for Alonzo is just he I don't know that. What's his value when he comes back from this injury? Contract with the Bulls is probably going to be close to up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a team that takes a shot on him.
For sure, yeah, but
the NBA is not a patient league. So, if you're injured and you don't have one good year and you aren't Lonzo's established as a starter, but he's not established as anything beyond that.
yeah.
No.
People lose their spots all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I feel so bad for him. Maybe he can pull like a Thunderstruck type deal and transfer his powers to LiAngelo. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
give him a chance, yeah.
I feel like when he comes back, most likely he'll be a low-end starter, high-end bench player.
I hope that. I think he'll get the opportunity to be, but I don't know. Like Nate said, they're so impatient that if it takes him a couple games to get used to being back and playing,
He might get dropped.
Right.
It will.
Gets a
It's going to
chance.
take. It might take him a full season to get back to playing in the league. It takes time. So I mean, I hope they give Lonzo a chance.
And just like that, he will be viewed as a negative asset though, because they're going to be paying. I think his contract's around $10 million. I don't know off the top of my head, but like that's if you're getting paid. I know that's not a whole lot in today's NBA, but like that's a negative asset if you know you can't play for another season and a half.
Look at someone like John Wall. Like he came back. And, like, obviously he was way better than Lonzo.
Right.
But he's never found a place in the league again. He's bounced from home to home, barely gets to play. Like, I mean, the Clippers gave him a decent shot.
Yeah, and he played pretty decent for the Clippers. But, yeah, that kind of just – I mean, that even more dramatically shows what is an uphill battle for Lonzo. Because, like you said, he was never on John Wall's level. And you see what they did to him, so.
We'll have to wait and see. Mm-hmm. So that's all for this week's weekly news segment. We're going to move into the March Madness bracket update. Let's do it. All right, so there have been, throughout the first round, the round of 64, there have been a couple huge upsets, to say the least.
Well, considering no one had a perfect bracket making it, not even we weren't even in the last game of the first round, and there was no more perfect bracket. So I would say there's a few upsets.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
So number 13, Furman beat number 4, Virginia, 68-67.
Which, congratulations, that was a popular pick amongst brackets, actually. So, way to call that, yeah.
They have since been laid to rest. Furman's going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they lost in a second. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, yeah, I kind of always, I don't know. It's nice seeing an upset, and you want them to go further, and it's so sad when they, knock off a number 4 and then lose to a number 5. I mean,
because it was a fluke.
Yeah, I mean, might have been.
You know who wasn't a fluke? Number 15, Princeton over number 2, Arizona, baby. 59-55. And I'll go ahead and spoil it. The second round, I think they played last night, was it? They beat number 7, Missouri, to make it to the Sweet 16. So which is absolutely nuts.
I was going to say, I mean, honestly, once you beat Arizona, I know they were still, I think they were 3-point underdogs or playing Missouri, but at that point, it's well, if you can beat Arizona, I don't even know if calling you the underdog is fair anymore, because go ahead, make it to the Elite Eight.
I remember last week I was sitting here making my bracket, and Chris was like, "You have Princeton beating Arizona," and I was looking at the stats, and I was like, "They're obviously they don't play as much competition,
not nearly, but yeah,
but their stats were better than Arizona's, slightly."
Well, I was gonna say,
I was like,
all I could think about when we were talking about brackets is I'm thinking too logically. Half of March Madness is literally madness. So whatever you think logically will happen, it's half of it won't, because that's what makes March Madness March Madness.
Which color do you like the best?
Which mascot do you like the best?
Next, this one isn't as big as the other ones, but it was an ugly game, to say the least. Number 11, Pittsburgh beat number 6, Iowa State, 59-41.
It's funny, if we just focus on the picks that we got right, we look like genius. Because I had Pitt, not only because we didn't even know if Pitt was going to be in the 64 teams that made it, because they still had to play their, play-in game. I called them to beat Iowa, and I said on the last episode that it was going to be Pitt that won that game and then won another one. And so if we just focus on the games we got right, we look like geniuses. It's just all the other games we got wrong.
We're not going to talk about
Iowa State made me look stupid. I had them going to the Elite Eight.
I had Duke in my championship.
So, we just, again, focus on, hey, good call on Princeton. I'll take the good call on Pitt. Did you have a good upset that worked?
No.
No, I don't think I did. To be honest, I do not think I did.
I had Virginia and Duke in the Elite Eight. I had that whole. I knew it wasn't going to happen.
But you had Princeton over Arizona. That's all that matters.
I mean, honestly, to call that's just I'm already at a different level. You can't talk to me.
I do. Yeah, dog. I don't see one. I don't think I had a single upset go through. Can we talk about? I had Charleston going to the Sweet 16.
I did too. They're the only one who
cut. It's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. I was gonna say though. I mean, I think last time I checked, my bracket was in the top 30% of brackets. It was beating 70. So I mean,
I need to look at mine.
I feel like it's not bad. It's above average.
Yeah.
Take it.
Next one is the big one. This is the big boy.
Yeah, this was the perfect bracket ender right here.
And I am proud that I got to watch this game live from home. Number 16, Farley Dickinson over number 1 Purdue, 63-58.
Props to them. They didn't even win. They didn't even get to win their conference championship, and that's fine because they're out here making moves.
What happened in that?
The other team had not fully transferred to Division 1. They were a Division 2 basketball team, and they hadn't fully made the transition to Division 1. So
they
they actually lost. Well, they got to play in the championship game, and they actually lost to the other team. That was a Division 2 team.
Couldn't go.
But they just couldn't move on, so they automatically
that team
qualified.
was ineligible to play in the tournament.
So shout out to them. They didn't even win their conference, but they're out here upsetting Purdue.
I'm sorry, can you imagine being that team and losing and knowing you could have been in the championship or the bracket?
I'm sure they are I don't even think. I mean, I'm sure most of the smaller conferences root for the teams that did make it, and they can't be celebrating. They have to be upset.
What makes this insane? So a video started circulating right before the game, I think literally the day before the game started. The game happened, and it was of their coach in their locker room after. I guess it was after they won the playing game, and their coach was like, "The more I watch Purdue play, the more I think we can beat them." And all of the locker room goes crazy. So everyone was circulating that, and then they actually did it.
Props to him.
And you know what else is crazy is the fact that he after the game he said, if we played Purdue 100 times, we'd probably lose 99. He's a very wishy-washy.
Yeah, he was like, that got taken out of context.
Maybe he was trying to be nice to
Purdue because they just what I think is funny about it all is Purdue had better odds of winning the entire NCAA tournament than Farley Dickerson did of beating them in the first round. So that's just crazy. You would have made more money betting Farley Dickerson to win than you would have Purdue to win the whole tournament.
That's
nuts.
Insane. I should have put some money on Farley.
But here's what's crazy. This was history setting because this was only the second time in history that a 16th seed had beat a number 1 seed in the history of the NCAA tournament.
It's the only time?
Second time.
Okay, I
thought
thought
the first time was in 2018 when Virginia lost to UMBC.
And then what's so crazy about that is Virginia turns around 2019, wins the whole tournament. So is this just a sign that college basketball is just getting more competitive? Anyone can truly beat anyone. I mean, I know March Madness has always kind of been like that. There's always been Cinderella stories, but it seems like over the recent time it's getting even more like that.
That's fair.
Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot to mention this about let me do this about Purdue first. If you haven't seen the picture of the whiteboard that was in their locker room.
Oh yeah.
I think it was Zach Edey because people were saying it was him because he had bruises all over his arm, scratch marks right after the game that weren't happening during the game. So I'm guessing he went in there and just absolutely let one loose on the whiteboard.
I mean, that thing was destroyed.
Wasn't it partially his fault they lost because he played bad?
Well, he was saying that his teammates would refuse to pass him the ball at the end of the game.
I was going to say also,
Yeah.
from what I've seen and heard, it's kind of they were selling out to stop Zach Edey. That was their goal.
I was watching. They double teamed him every single time.
I was going to say they were okay, someone else on Purdue is going to beat us, and it worked perfectly.
He shouldn't have said that about his teammates because that hurts your stock even more.
It does when you're a bad teammate.
Yeah. He kind of messed that one up.
But I forgot to mention about Virginia. Okay, so my uncle is a Virginia fan, diehard Virginia fan. And last year at the end of the season, when Kihei Clark announced he was coming back, my uncle was like, I can't stand him. Why must this happen? I want him to leave so bad. And so what's funny is Kihei Clark cost them this game.
Oh, that was the worst turnover.
Yeah, they were up, which is crazy because he had one of the greatest passes, win the championship in, I think it was 2019.
Yeah, it was.
And then he probably had one of the worst passes in tournament history to lose this game. They had
no
shot clock. They had a timeout. There's no shot clock. There's 7 seconds left on the clock. He's holding the ball and they're trapping him. All he has to do is either call a timeout or take a foul.
Or
they get to shoot
even,
free throws.
I mean,
or just hold the ball.
I know his mom was probably thinking 8-second violation.
Right.
Yeah, I guess so. But he chucks the ball up court.
And Furman gets the steal.
Furman gets the steal and hits the three to win the game.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, what the heck?
And that's the play you would expect from a freshman, maybe sophomore.
But not a fifth-year senior.
That's crazy. Props to him, though. Props to Furman.
Yeah. And then, obviously, we talked about in the second round, Princeton beat Missouri last night.
And, I mean, Arkansas beat Kansas.
Oh, yeah, Arkansas beat Kansas. I forgot about that one. Arkansas did beat number 1 Kansas.
Crazy.
Took them out, which
all
is
kinds of madness.
Nuts. All right, boys. This is gonna be sad. Let's do our bracket checks.
Oh dear Lord.
So, are you checking how many you have left of your Elite Eight?
Yeah. Okay. So in my Elite Eight, I have 5 out of 8 left.
I have.
Never mind. I have 4 out of 8 left. I just saw that. I just saw that Kansas lost 2. I forgot about them. So
I have 5 left.
I have UCLA, Houston, Baylor, and Alabama left.
Oh, you have Baylor making the Elite Eight? Ooh,
Yeah.
That's tough. They did not look good in the first round.
Well, I also had USC making the Elite Eight, and they lost in the first round. So,
Hey, but, at least it's a good upset. I respect it. What about you? How was your bracket looking? Or you want me to go to me?
I don't want to talk about it. Oh, didn't you? Did you talk about Kansas losing?
Yeah, I just did.
yeah, we talked about it a second
Okay.
ago.
He was trying to pull up his bracket. He
All
missed
right,
it.
I can pull up my Elite Eight. All right, I had Indiana and Texas. Is Indiana still in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Neither one of them have secured a spot to the Sweet 16, I don't think. Wait, or
Okay.
did Texas win already? I cannot remember.
I'm not
I can
sure,
go back
but
and
at
check.
least they're still secure for now. I had Kansas and UCLA. At least UCLA is still there.
Yeah.
Then I have Providence and Duke.
Both are gone.
Both are gone.
Yikes.
And then I had Missouri and Virginia.
Both are gone.
It's a tough day.
It is a tough day.
So how many did you have left of your Elite Eight?
1, 2. I have 3.
I have 5 left. So
I
I
have
got 5,
4.
4,
So Steven
3.
did the best for the Elite Eight.
I just have Arizona, Duke, and Kansas are my teams that will not be there, obviously.
And then Final Four, I'm only missing one of my Final Four, which is Purdue.
Mine's Kansas.
My
Final
four. I think I have UCLA and Texas
All right, so who did you have making your Final Four?
on all 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just closed it out.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
it's okay. I can get it right here for you. So on my Final Four, I had Duke, Virginia, UCLA, and Texas.
All right, so yeah, you got half yours. And
My
then the
half my
championship
bracket's
game?
still strong.
What's-
It was Duke and Texas.
And did you have
You had Duke
winning or
winning,
Texas?
which is-
oh,
which
that's
is
the
sad.
champions.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I was just like,
I
why
have.
not?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying if I called it, it would have been awesome. But
I
That
mean,
would have been crazy.
they were looking strong. It's just that it's the classic problem. I mean, defense does win championships, but when you can't score on offense reliably,
And also, when you're that young of a team, it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
It always seems to be Duke's problem is that they're them having majority freshmen playing 40
same
minutes
for Kentucky.
always ends up being their problem.
yeah, a lot of times it does call them. I guess they're just trying to recreate the magic they had with Jaleel Okafor.
Yeah.
Ironically, that was the team they got it done with, and I would say arguably that team of the starters and the guys playing minutes in that championship game,
Did not
out of all the other
produce
teams, they didn't really
NBA.
produce in the
It's
NBA like the other
kind of
ones.
how it goes. Like those
Probably
teams
the
that
best.
have the top talent don't produce in the March Madness, but the teams that are lower level players that are like
They do.
they end up meshing. It doesn't because look at UNC, the teams with players okay, they haven't had a good player in a while, but even players that made the NBA like Kobe White, and
that
some
was-
other squads like that.
Cole
They-
Anthony.
Yeah,
The
they
Cole
didn't
Anthony,
win
yeah.
anything with those.
No.
But then you have teams with people like Marcus Page that do, or looking
Joe
better
Barry.
one, Kentucky.
Actually, yeah, that makes it's just the senior.
Yeah,
a lot of those.
Kentucky,
Yeah,
You had a team with Anthony Davis and not Anthony Davis. I'm sorry. You had a team with John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins,
and Eric Bledsoe.
and you don't win. But then you come around and then they win with teams that don't have any.
And they had the Harrison brothers.
They had at one point Devin Booker came off their bench at Kentucky.
Yeah, and they didn't win anything.
They had Cat at one point.
They had
too.
Kev. Yeah, they had. And was De'Aaron Fox on that team too, or no?
De'Aaron
Oh no, it was Shea
Fox
Gilgeous
and
Alexander.
Malik Monk.
Yeah, that was De'Aaron Fox.
That was
and
De'Aaron
Malik
Fox,
Monk.
Malik Monk,
As
and
a
Bam
backcourt.
Adebayo was on that team as
And
well.
then they had Shea. They replaced that with Shea, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, and Willie Cauley-Stein.
absolutely ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, March Madness. I feel like or big one, Duke with Zion, Cam Reddish, and what's his face,
RJ
Barrett.
Davis.
RJ Barrett. Like
R.J. Davis.
That's Carolina's player. Sorry.
RJ Barrett, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they were close. They lost to a Michigan State, I think, in the Elite Eight or Sweet 16 one. So at least they did something.
So
No
then,
offense to this Duke team.
so then for my championship, I still have Houston being out of Alabama, which is still intact as of now. Please.
Yeah, and I have Kansas State and Texas, and thankfully now at halftime, Kansas State is winning. So we'll see
Let's go.
if that can happen for me. I would appreciate that.
So those are our bracket checks. Next up, we're going to move on to a segment we like to call Free Agency Frenzy. You thought we were going to leave this out? You were wrong.
So in this segment, Free Agency Frenzy, we are going to spin a wheel 3 times each. For me, Seth and Steven will take turns. And whatever team it stops on, we have to cut one player they've signed in this free agency. We are going to include trades and stuff like that. I think we are going to exclude franchise tags and stuff like that. Players who are already on the team. Has to be someone who has gone to the team. And then we then we sign another free agent in their place. Now, to make this interesting, we could just cut their third string cornerback that they just signed. But no, the stipulation we came up with, their contract has to be at least worth $5 million per year. So if it's anything less than that, doesn't mean they're not valuable, doesn't mean they won't make an impact. It's just that we had to set a boundary so that we're not just cutting someone like the third-round cornerback and saying, hey, now you have Tremaine Edmonds. Like, we can't do that. So we're going to start out by spinning the wheel, and I think we should start with Seth.
Before that we do that, I just have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Are we including players that got released? So, like, for the Cardinals, this is the first one to have up, like Kazir White, the linebacker. Could I replace him with, like, Miles Jack?
Yeah. Well, he's a free agent, so yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah.
Got it.
All right, you ready for your first team?
I was just gonna ask
Go
real
ahead.
quick. It's similar. We're doing like similar value, correct? Or did you say the $5 million
It can be
rule?
anybody. You
Okay.
just have to cut someone who is above $5 million or
a year.
more.
Okay, that's what I was double
they're,
checking.
Like, for example, if they're 2 years, $9 million, you can't cut them because they're not making $5 million per year. Now, on the way the contract breaks down, they might be for 1 year, but we're not getting into all that.
Dang it, so no kickers? That's crazy.
All right, I don't know. There are some kickers that make some money out there. All right, you ready?
Let's
For
do it.
First team, we're spinning the wheel now. Sorry that you can't see this. All right, here we go. You have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, gosh. Okay, all right.
Oh,
I'm pulling them up right now. Okay, so they have signed offensive tackle Jawan Taylor, edge rusher Charles Amanahu, and then the rest are below $5 million. So I'm going to. Ooh, that's tough. Let me see who is available as an edge rusher right now.
Yeah. Oh, they don't have to be available. It could have been anyone signed in free agency.
Ooh,
So you can steal one from somebody. They just had to have been a free agent this year.
I'm trying to think who is an edge rusher that has been signed. Can y'all think of one?
I can give you some options. You
Yeah,
ready?
please. Thank you.
Okay. So on an edge rushers, we have. Well, it's bringing me into draft world. I don't think there's been that many edge rushers. I mean, maybe if it's qualified as a defensive end.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. You're gonna have to use that big brain of yours. You have a defensive tackle.
You know what? I'll say they signed Jawan Taylor to 4 years, $80 million.
This is the challenge.
This is a challenging team because those are both. That was a good pick. That was a good pickup for them because they.
Okay, here's one. You have this is a defensive end, Obo Onkenrock. I can't pronounce his last name. Okoronkwo. He's 3 years, $19 million for the Cleveland Browns. You have Zach Allen. The Denver Broncos signed him 3 years, $45.8 million.
Oh, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change out Charles Amanahu for Zach Allen.
Zach Allen. That's a good pickup. Okay. All right. Are you ready for yours?
I am ready.
All right. Time to spin the wheel. Such a slow wheel spin. Okay. You now have the Rams.
The Rams. Oh, well, first of all, I wouldn't have traded. Well, if I was trying to compete this year, I would not have traded away Jalen Ramsey. But we'll get on to something else. Let me pull up their
Oh,
free
it doesn't
agency
have
signs.
any of their money for them.
Wait a minute.
I guess you're gonna
You
have
just
to
have to cut
replace
someone.
Hunter Long.
I think maybe by default.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about it. I think that's their only addition so
By
far.
default, you cut Hunter Long. Who you signing?
Dalton Schultz. There we go. I had the
Well, they already
easiest route.
have Higbee.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking cut a tight end.
Sign
Take a tight end. Sign a better tight end.
Well, I mean, I don't.
They lost Robert Woods. Not that he did much for him.
I
Oh,
also
they
don't
actually, my fault. They actually did sign one offensive lineman. if we don't want to go the trade route.
Coleman Shelton.
Yeah, so I mean, I could theoretically drop him and take any of the good offensive linemen available, like even Orlando Brown Jr. Like, I mean, I think that would help them a lot. Honestly, they're probably more in need of a good offensive lineman than a tight end. So I would go with Orlando Brown Jr., maybe a Mike McGlinchey. I think either one of those would, I mean, help their O-line was awful last year. So either one of those.
And we are ignoring cap hits for this just because
Yeah,
we don't know
because-
every
yeah.
team's
I mean,
cap.
I don't feel like having to.
I could go
understand
to
that.
the 35th best offensive lineman if I need to, but
All right, time for another wheel spin. I should be eliminating these teams as we go, so we don't spin the same one. But all right,
does that add anything to it?
I got Detroit.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Oh
gonna
gosh,
be an interesting
that's
one.
rough.
I mean, re-sign.
Yeah, have
some
fun with
guys.
that one.
I can either cut Cam Sutton at corner, Alex Anzalone, I think that's how you pronounce it, at linebacker, David Montgomery, even Emmanuel Mosley falls under that.
I know immediately what I would think of to do.
I think I'm going to cut Emmanuel Mosley, and I am trading for Jalen Ramsey.
I mean, fair enough.
I mean, I just
you
that
won't
feels
have
so unrealistic. Like that's
it
not
does,
happening.
but at the same time, the Dolphins gave up almost nothing for Jalen Ramsey. So
Yeah, that's.
So I'm going
fair.
for Jalen Ramsey.
I
Like
mean-
if you want corner help, that's some of the
I mean,
best.
it's fair. Yeah.
it's not like you're breaking the bank. I don't believe. Or you could sign James Bradbury if you want. Or
Well, even then they have Imagine Cam Sutton and Jalen Ramsey.
That's tough.
That's disgusting. Like, and you can run Jalen anywhere.
mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So time for Seth's second one. Let me eliminate this team so they
Hit
don't-
me with it.
I don't know if you're
We'll
ready.
Reduce our chances of getting the same guy.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, are we ruled? By the way, since I took Orlando Brown Jr., is he ruled out for other teams or no?
Yeah, I don't think anyone should be able to sign the players.
Wait,
we
you
signed.
didn't take Orlando Brown Jr. You took Dalton Schultz.
So actually, no, I didn't take Dalton Schultz. I was just saying if I'm going to cut a tight end, I could just add that tight end. But instead, I cut the offensive lineman and took Orlando Brown Jr.
Yeah, my bad. I got lost in my own thoughts.
I know you're good. We've been there.
All right, so we have spun the wheel, and you have Houston.
Okay.
Ooh. They made a lot of moves, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. So they got Robert Woods. They got Jimmy Ward.
You want to keep that him? Okay.
Yeah, I want to keep.
Just- Oh, I didn't even know they picked up Case Keenum.
They got Shaq Mason from the Buccaneers.
Oh yeah, that was a trade earlier.
Honestly, I'm gonna get rid of Shaq Mason for Nate Davis.
Oh, okay. How much is Shaq Mason making per year, though?
I don't know. It was
Yeah, it's just a
Hold on,
trade,
can
so I
tell
don't
you.
know how
Shaq
that one works.
Mason contract. Do you like this ASMR for my typing, guys?
Yeah, it's great. I hope I get another option where I can't obey the $5 million rule.
Low key, even though it's not going to do.
Oh
anything.
yeah, 5-year, $45 million. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind. I didn't know
So
how
yeah,
good Shaq
Nate
Mason
Davis
was.
for Shaq Mason.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to eliminate the Texans from our great wheel, and now we are spinning for Steven. You have the San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh, San Fran.
San Fran.
All right, let's see. Let's see. They. Sorry.
I know.
My thing's being slow.
I know who I would cut.
I had the whole list of things.
Oh
pulled up.
yeah, I do too.
They had a couple.
You have a personal tie to this
I think
person.
you only got two people that you can cut.
Yeah, they do.
Oh no, there's one more.
Do you
There's
have?
a center.
I'm
Oh,
just
I
gonna
see
let
'em.
you. Since you got that, let me see real quick. Oh, Sam. They paid $12 million for Sam Darnold. I mean, so is it cheating to cut Sam Darnold, and since they want to add a quarterback, add Derek Carr? I mean, it just seems like so much of an upgrade.
That's good.
But
But they're gonna go with Trey Lance or Brock Purdy.
They're gonna go with Brock Purdy once he's healthy.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. I should take a
Let's
quarterback.
not act like that's not already decided.
I should take a quarterback that's more apt to be a backup. So
I know who I would pick, but go ahead.
I feel very confident about this. I'm gonna cut Sam Darnold and pick up Jacoby Brissett.
Ooh,
That's not bad.
Okay.
I was gonna go with Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, I think Jacoby Brissett's a little bit better
I was
personally
gonna say,
because he
wait,
was.
is Tyler Huntley a free agent this year? I think
Tyler
he is.
Heineke.
Tyler Huntley.
Oh, Huntley. I don't know.
I think
I don't know
he
either.
is.
I don't know.
I don't know
but
that
I
I
think
would
I don't
pick
think
him
he's
over-
on. I think Jacoby Brissett is better. I mean,
No, that's definitely
he was
fair.
really good
There's
for
always
Cleveland.
that Carson Wentz bid out there.
I'm gonna
Honestly,
double
was better
down.
as the starter than Deshaun Watson, but they paid him too much money to not let him play.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to they have to bet on Deshaun Watson and then bet again and then bet again. Like they've already paid him too much. They have to keep going with them.
If they have to wait for anyone to get healthy, Jacoby Brissett is a perfect plug and
So
play.
I'm thinking buy Sam Darnold. We don't want to take Derek Carr because, Derek Carr is better than Jacoby Brissett, but Derek Carr is not going to be there to be a backup. So I will take Jacoby Brissett because he would be okay with that role as he has been.
I agree. Time for the final round 2 pick for me. All right, round 2. The wheel is getting I almost got Arizona.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I got Miami. So this is an interesting one, too.
Hell, if I get the Panthers, I'm going to be devastated because I'm not going to want to make a trade.
All right, so for Miami, I got Jalen Ramsey. I got the great Mike White.
Great, yeah.
David Long. And I think that's where the list stops. Okay, so I am going to cut David Long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this feels so bad, but I think I'm going to bring in Tremaine Edmonds there.
Oh,
I
that's
just don't know if
okay.
the cap. I just once again the cap might make that. This is fantasy.
Literally
land.
impossible.
Yeah,
But yay.
but I feel like you could.
I
Bring
do
in a better
actually-
linebacker.
Which the Dolphins have made a lot of additions, so depending on where this is in the free agency, they may have originally had cap for that. So
Yeah, I didn't realize they also signed they got Braxton Berrios on a
yeah.
1-year deal.
I don't know. I really like Braxton Berrios.
The Miami got Braxton.
Yeah,
Dang,
I didn't even know that.
He
Their squad.
he probably won't play. To be honest,
I mean, he may be a returner.
Yeah, so Raheem Mostert doesn't have to.
Can
Yeah,
I
I mean,
just,
that was
like-
the same thing he was doing on the 49ers. So, but not
Can
the
I
49ers,
just-
the Jets.
Stack
He was
Dang
actually
it.
getting catches though on the Jets.
Chicago.
Yeah,
This
fair.
is just a real quick note. A Green Bay Packer has committed the ultimate mutiny.
What they do?
Robert Tonyan signed with the Bears.
I was gonna say,
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
That's so like that
I
doesn't
mean-
happen. You don't go from Green Bay to Chicago.
Well, we had Green Bay to Minnesota last year, so it's just.
But
Was
that's
it last
a
year?
bigger
with Kendricks?
rivalry.
Yeah, it is.
Green
No,
Bay and Chicago hate each other.
Yeah.
For no reason.
I know.
Just
Anytime
because-
you
I mean,
go
it's this division,
to a division rival is always interesting.
Wait, I just saw this. Raheem Mostert, 2 years, $5.6 million. That's a good deal for them.
Yeah, he's a little bit older, so I think.
I guess that's fair.
So I don't blame.
and Wilson's good though too.
Wilson's
Jeff Wilson.
good.
Mm-hmm. I think Jeff Wilson. I think it's going to be Raheem Mostert this year. Jeff Wilson next year is probably what that deal indicates to me, but we'll see.
All right, now we're getting into round 3. You ready?
My last one.
Will spin.
Give
Will
it to
spin,
me.
Will spin.
We could do real sound effects instead of if we want to.
You have XFL team. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, gosh.
No, you have
Give me
the-
A.J. McCarron over everyone.
You ready? You have
Yeah.
the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, that's rigged.
Okay,
I wanted the
dear
Carolina
God.
Panthers. I would do nothing. I love the free agency they had.
Wish you could
Yeah,
get the
as a
Cardinals so I
Panthers
could
fan,
chill
me
out.
and Steven have loved what's going on. What has
I mean,
gone on
we
so
could be
far.
really greedy and start adding some.
I mean, I know who I'd cut here too.
Like, I guess I would. Okay, so
Y'all have Julian Love.
yeah, I don't know who that is, to be honest.
I've heard him before. He's making the money.
Yeah,
He's making the money. Okay, who was another safety we get?
CJ.
C.J.
Y'all
Gardner Johnson.
yeah, and he hasn't
Y'all
even
got
been
CJ
signed.
No. I'm gonna cut Julian Love to sign C.J. Gardner Johnson.
Oh,
How
I mean,
many safeties do you need, sir?
All of them.
I was gonna say,
All of them.
I guess that would make Xavier Woods go to the bench. Like, he's such a good
Do you
safety to
want-
be a bench safety.
Do you want Andy Dalton as your backup quarterback?
I love it.
Yeah, I actually like that for us.
Okay.
To be clear, as a backup.
Nah, for him to start.
If he starts over the number 1 pick at all,
He will at first.
Oh,
you don't think he
God.
will at first? I think he will at first, and I don't have a problem with it as long as
don't
it's
know.
temporarily.
Okay. All right, Steven. Well, you don't get the Panthers.
That's depressing.
I'm still not over. We got Miles Sanders. We didn't get to talk about that in the.
I know, I like
'cause
it.
We made free agency something, but we got Miles Sanders for 4 years, 25 mil.
Well, you didn't get your favorite team, but you got your second favorite team. Possibly. It's not your second favorite, but you love this team. You got the Chargers.
I do like the Chargers. Will you pull that up?
Got
for
you.
us? Thank you. I appreciate it because my phone is much slower.
Pull that up real quick, Jamie. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, so we got a right tackle. I didn't realize they had Eric Kendricks. I guess I will probably. Oh, you already took Miles. You know what? I'm going to get rid of Eric Kendricks.
Bye, Eric.
No disrespect to Eric.
Back to the Vikings you go.
And I'm going to pick up Bobby Wagner.
Ooh.
And you don't have to pick the position you cut, but yeah. that's
Right,
a good
yeah, I
pick.
know. I feel like a one-for-one makes the most sense because they do need help at linebacker.
And veteran help.
And I don't know, Bobby goes from one LA team to the other. Could be a interesting.
Doesn't have to move.
Right. I mean, that you could sell him that. So I'm like, hey, Bobby, you already got a house. Let's chill
That's-
over here.
That's what happened with Russ.
Yeah.
Russell
very
Westbrook.
fair,
They were
yeah.
like, hey,
He went-
you want to go to the same stadium? You don't have to change anything.
Except they're going
Just
to the
your,
better LA team.
your practice dates. They're just a little different, guy.
Exactly.
Like, all right.
Actually, both times they went to. Think about that though. If that happened in real life, both times the player would have gone from the more historically good LA team. Not saying the Rams have a great history, but I'm saying they at least
Kurt
won a Super
Warner.
Bowl, right? So, but they go from that team to the team that's better right now, but doesn't have much of a history. Clippers.
The
Chargers.
greatest show on turf. It was a time. Okay, round 3, final round for me.
With the final pick of our free agency frenzy, cut and sign, who will Nate pick for?
Well, what team will he have?
I have the Saints.
Ooh,
This is a fun one.
the Saints have made so many moves.
Okay, so
Derek Carr for Lamar Jackson.
I mean,
I think we
upgrade.
excluded franchise tags.
Well, actually,
Um,
but it does say that Lamar Jackson's on the trade block, so I
So
do
I
think that'd
have
be possible.
Derek Carr, Nathan Shepard, technically, he has a defensive tackle. He barely makes it. Jawan Johnson actually makes the tight end list. I like Jawan Johnson, honestly.
I
though.
do too.
Michael Thomas.
Well, they
And Michael
see
Thomas.
those are always interesting because like Michael Thomas was signed through this year, but they restructured his contract. So
Also,
Dang,
Jamal
he
Williams,
doesn't
3
make the
years,
cut.
four mil
Jamal?
per year. That's a good deal for
That's a
him.
great deal.
Great deal.
He doesn't make the financial cuttings. I wouldn't cut him anyway.
No.
no,
I'm getting ready to make someone very mad, and they're not in this room.
Oh gosh.
oh, I'm not in this room. It's fine. It's gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be Chris.
He's getting rid
It's
of
gonna
Derek
be Chris
Carr.
Long. Shout out to our guest from last
Goodbye,
week.
Michael Thomas.
Oh,
You are out of here.
Yes.
You have the biggest cap hit of any player in the league.
which they
And you
did
don't
restructure
play.
that.
You do not
so
play.
you are cut. I am not bringing you back.
Okay, and who are
Um,
you taking in?
Juju Smith. No, I'm just gonna stop.
Dear God.
So I need to bring in another receiver.
Juju Smith hears this and he's just like,
I am
pull up TikTok.
going to trade for Brandon Cooks.
Ooh.
Oh.
I
Okay.
think that would be a good connection.
You
to
don't
have.
wanna
Honestly,
add,
having Derek.
Or should I? Well, I'm not going to say DJ because that was too big of a trade.
I mean, you could.
Yeah, but they don't have the first overall pick. That trade doesn't add
like
up.
it's
in
not even
logistics.
I guess
slightly
that's fair,
yeah.
realistic. They do have a high pick though, don't they?
Yeah, no, the Eagles have their high pick.
Oh, you're
Oh,
right.
dang.
Okay, I'm just making sure there's no other wide receivers I want to go with.
Unless
for
you
us.
want like a Jacoby Myers, Odell Beckham. Who else?
Ooh,
was
OBJ
on?
wouldn't be bad. I'm gonna go with Brandon Cooks.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, that's
He had a
good
great
pick for
time
you.
in New Orleans, although that was with
I forgot.
Drew Brees.
Can we talk about this real quick? Baker Mayfield on the Bucks.
Yeah, wait, that's going to be interesting.
Is he starting?
I think he's going to be a starter.
I think he does, unless they.
Kyle Trask.
I mean, we'll see. It'll probably be. I'm sure it'll be like most NFL teams where like it's a QB competition where they already have in mind who's going to start, but they just want to give both players a chance.
Yeah,
And then they got Chase Edmonds at running back. That's interesting. It's
I
not
like
necessarily-
it. Yeah.
but-
I don't think they're going to make the
So now
playoffs.
to
Oh,
conclude
no,
the episode,
no chance.
we are going to read off every signing. I'm joking.
Starting with the players making $2 million or less.
Shout out to the Eagles for keeping their defense relatively intact.
Right, they did lose some players, but they've done a good job, and they kept Jason Kelsey. They did a good job at trying to run it back next year.
And now Marcus Mariota gets the chance to steal the job from Jalen Hurts.
The Eagles got Rashad Penny for 1 year, 1.35 mil.
Yep,
That's a great pickup.
Dear God.
I know they
They
paid
don't, they don't
Boston.
need Miles.
Can we explain? I mean, well, at least Miles will give you the whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can we talk about the fact that they paid Boston Scott more than Rashad Penny? I don't understand that. Unless it's just a little bit of a, hey, here's some loyalty. You'll probably end up playing because Rashad Penny can't play the whole year. I don't know what's factored into that, but
also just saw the Giants, and dear God, they went insane.
That's what I was looking at right now.
The dog, Darren Waller, they got Bobby
poor Darren Waller, man.
Okereke for freaking $10 million a year for 4 years. They got Matt Breida. They got brought back Sterling Shepard,
brought
Paris
back Matt
Campbell,
Breida.
and Darius Slayton.
They have a squad.
Dear God.
What does help is a lot of those
man.
players that you're saying, like Matt Breida, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, like they're all being brought back, and then they just add guys like Darren
Waller, and that gives him that gives Daniel Dimes just a guy to throw consistent checkdowns to when his offensive line doesn't block for him.
Did the Patriots? Did they already have Jabril Peppers? It doesn't say re-signed by his name. That's why I'm confused.
I know. He was on the Browns, wasn't he?
So now
No.
they got Jabril Peppers.
Wasn't Jabril Pepper on the Browns? I'm not tripping.
A while back, who he might have been. I mean,
we can find out. You keep talking.
But they also brought in Juju. They brought in James Robinson, Mike Gesicki. Bro, they really just...
I really like the addition of Mike Gesicki.
Who got... What's his face?
Oh, I'm sorry. He was from the Giants.
Okay.
The Commanders got Jacoby Brissett.
Yes.
Yeah.
They lost Taylor Heineke and they cut
right.
Carson Wentz.
You're
so.
right.
Yeah, we were just kind of looking over some...
He went to Atlanta, I think. There's a lot of QB movement.
My biggest heartbreaks are the Cardinals losing Byron Murphy because they didn't want to pay him and they won't feed him at the facility.
Yeah.
And also Zach Allen. I really love those guys on our defense. But now they're just gone.
Yeah,
Like
it is hilarious.
Like trash.
I was talking about free agency because me and Seth are like so happy with what the Panthers have done,
Very,
and
very
then Nate
proud
is
organization.
devastated by the Cardinals.
Let's take a look at these,
Very
the
proud
Cardinals
of the
signings.
organization.
Here we go. The Dallas Cardinals. I saw Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cardinals.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
We've re-signed Kelvin Beachum, who went on a podcast last week and said that Kyler Murray is not mature.
God.
Great chemistry there. We've signed this guy. I have
Did he
hope
mean
for.
physically or mentally? Because physically, he's not completely wrong. A grown-up toddler running around.
mentally.
I love how he's taller than
I love you, Kyler Murray.
He's taller than
Okay,
Seth.
but he plays football. I don't.
Then we have I can't pronounce his name. It's like Jalte for Holt. He's from the Browns, so we actually have the Browns QB coach as our offensive coordinator, Petzing. So I think he probably saw something in him while he was in Cleveland and signed him in. Will Hernandez, he was okay. He didn't get to play position. He had to play center some last year, which was ugly. We got Kaiser White. I like that. Put him beside Zaven Collins, and you got a decent linebacking core, and at least he has some experience. But other than that, I like Matt Prater, but we just haven't done anything.
Yeah,
we
really.
haven't
Nothing
re-signed
notable.
Anybody. We haven't made any big moves, and we have a whole new front office. Usually, a front office is looking to make a splash,
Like ours.
And
Ours.
they're not. So I am this close to not being an Arizona fan anymore.
I was gonna
I'm
say-
over to the Panthers side, guys.
I was going to say,
It'll be
we
fun.
could sit here talking about the Panthers additions. You don't need me to tell you that Miles Sanders had over 1,000 yards last year or that Hayden Hurst is a great tight end. But the only thing I will say that I think is worth mentioning, which, you might not know Bradley Bozeman. He was great last year. Offensive line was so much better last year. But what I do want to say, and I do think it's worth noting, that just last week, I was a very nervous Panthers fan.
I was too.
We just traded for the first overall pick. I was not sure. This is a brand new front office coach. I did not know how much I trusted them. But then the free agency, it kind of gives me hope that whoever they take at QB1, which it'll be a QB at the first overall pick. I don't think that's a shock. I actually think that they'll make a good decision. So I feel much better as a Panthers fan than I did last week.
They signed great guys. They restructured a lot of guys' deals to open up cap space, and
You just
They
need
did a
someone
great
for
job.
them to throw the ball to now.
exactly.
Yeah, at least they got Hayden Hurst. I saw DJ Chark was visiting.
Please,
Maybe.
DJ Chark.
I
This
would
is
love-
our personal invite to you. Please,
Please.
for the love of God, move to Carolina.
He's a good
Oh,
tall
he's got
receiver.
a personal invite. He's definitely coming now.
Yeah,
This
right?
is done.
Yeah. So I'm happy.
Also, before we go, I think we have to talk about this. The New York Jets are absolutely going all out to try to get Aaron Rodgers for one season. But then after he
I
leaves,
think
they're
it's
still
supposed
going
to
to
be
be
two.
screwed.
I think it's supposed to be 2 seasons.
Not if he retires. It's not.
Yeah.
They signed Alan Lazard to 4 years, $44 million.
I do
After-
really like Alan Lazard though.
I do too, but it's only because Aaron Rodgers said that he. Here's the thing. I saw this week, and it's so true. Someone was like, Aaron Rodgers, when he's on the Packers, they don't give me any weapons to work with. But then when he goes to the Jets, he's like, I want the same weapons I had in Green Bay. So he gave the Jets a wish list in order to
Right.
get him, which is
He
Aaron
denies
Lazard.
that, right?
Why else would they sign Alan Lazard?
Well,
Sorry to Aaron
actually,
Lazard.
what I will say
Run
is
blocking.
I was
if they
going to
sign
say
Mercedes Lewis and Randall Cobb as well, then everyone's going to know it was true.
He's the backup for in case Aaron Rodgers doesn't go. It's a deal win because they're gonna have to run the ball every play.
If they can't,
if
yeah.
they don't get A-Rod, so like at least he can block. Like
I was going to say and Mercedes Lewis. I hate those two are two of the best run blocking guys at their position.
Mercedes Lewis was still in the league.
Yeah, I mean he was great. He played a decent amount of snaps last year. He's a great run blocker. Because I made sure to watch because I was very thankful for both of those guys as I had Aaron Jones on my fantasy football team and he pulled out some narrow victories for me. But yeah, he apparently he wanted to bring in Odell. He wanted to bring in Randall Cobb. They don't need all those receivers. They have good receivers.
Yeah, that was the other person. He wanted Odell Beckham as well.
Yeah, no, that's too much.
Yeah, I mean maybe
My
Randall
thing
Cobb
was-
for some experience,
Now,
leadership. but-
Odell did come out and say the 20 million claim was fake. He's like, "Where do y'all get 20 mil from?"
Yeah, I
just
saw
saying
that.
4 ain't enough. Is what he said.
That's fair, I guess.
I don't want to pay him
But
20
my
mil.
thing is with the Packers, he was like, I want all the veterans. He didn't want any of the promising young receivers. They had like Christian Watson or Romeo Dobbs.
Well, I mean, because they couldn't bring them in free agency, but yeah, that is
That's
something.
fair.
I mean, now don't get me wrong, Garrett Wilson is better than Christian Watson, but it's just interesting because the defense is better, but the situation seems kind of similar. So we'll see how much better that could be.
But he has for so many receivers. That receiving room is already full, and it's going to get even worse. So like,
I mean, they already had players asking for trades.
exactly.
Well, Braxton Berrios being gone.
Oh yeah, that opens up a big hole. You're
Yeah,
right.
it does.
That helps a
that
little bit.
that opens up the room for my boy Bam to be their main returner now. Let's
That's
go.
true.
Let's go, Bam. Let's get this all pro returner right now. All right.
Fair.
That'd be great.
All right. Well, do you want to tell them about our socials?
Okay, so on top of our Instagram and TikTok, where you can go follow us at Let the Play Develop Pod, we now have a Twitter, which is
Run by me, and there will be a poll every single week. I want to interact with you guys. So I like, obviously you listen to our takes, but I want you to get involved in some takes. So that's why I want to poll, see what you guys think. So there's already one up. It'll probably, it might be expired by the time this video goes up, but make sure you follow so you can let us know and see. That way you can feedback to us.
I was more looking for our Twitter handle because I don't remember it. Is it L?
Oh yeah, it's the name on the Twitter is Let the Play Develop, and it's LPD.
LTPD.
LTPD. Thank you.
LTVD.
If you need help remembering that, just remember LT and then police department. 'cause
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
it sounds like.
Left Tackle Police Department.
There you go. That's how you
What a
remember it.
random thing, but yes, it is the Left Tackle Police Department. Make sure you drop a follow so you can talk back to us. We'll be checking them. So,
That's what we'll call our parody account.
and there's actually content up there, so make sure you follow it.
Also, if you are watching this on, if you're watching this on YouTube, yo, what's up? We love you. Go
Appreciate
check
it.
us out on Spotify and Apple Music and all your other streaming platforms. And give us a follow and a like over there. If you're watching on, if you're listening on any of the streaming platforms, hello. And go check us out on YouTube where you can see our faces and whatnot. And maybe you don't want to look at our faces.
See how
but
much
you
better
can,
dressed I am than the rest of my
honestly,
cast.
yeah,
I'm
you
kidding.
can see how better Steven is than us.
I'm just playing.
Well, I do want to add, I apologize for last week of our audio listeners. You would have not have wanted the audio
No.
experience. It was rough.
Yeah, we
We
had
had a
problems.
lot of technical difficulties. The video's still up. We managed to salvage some mic and camera audio, phone and camera audio, just enough to get it where you can listen to it, and it's not completely unbearable. So go check that out. It was an excellent, hilarious episode.
All kinds
Completely
of craziness.
Why
Yeah.
we
chaotic and
still-
unhinged.
We still voted to publish it because it was just that good.
Yeah.
But in terms of audio listeners, we
With,
didn't want to put you through that torture.
With guest ECU insider Chris Long. Shout out to him.
Yeah, we got an insider for you guys. So
I felt so official having an ECU insider with us.
Yeah, we couldn't get an insider from a relevant college, but we managed to bring someone in.
Okay, I wasn't gonna say it if I was thinking it.
that's so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else?
I think that might be it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.